In this video, we are going to analyze XRP's chart together and have a price prediction for the rest of the 2025 and of course 2026. I'm going to tell you why I think Ripple might have a new all-time high. We're going to determine the both bullish and bearish scenario and see what is going to happen for it next year. So let's go. Alright, so first let's go with the bullish scenario. I believe that we have a really important zone for Ripple. It would be this zone. We also had already a reaction to it that caused this move, which was great for Ripple. So ultimately this zone is really important, and I'm basing everything on this toward the bullish scenario. That if we keep above this area, we are going to go for higher highs, like ultimately in a perfect scenario, or at least don't have a crash for much lower prices. So this zone is really important for us. Also, I would like to mention that although Bitcoin had a crazy drop below 100k, Ripple didn't do such. It didn't even touch $2, so I think that's a good sign that still there are buyers that are preventing Ripple to go for lower prices. So for this zone, I actually believe that even in December maybe, I believe with a really high chance that in the 2026 we are going to test this area for sure. And after that it's going to determine where we are going. I think initially, of course, we are going to see a bounce off from here, and maybe we get a double bottom and then eventually make a base and then go for higher high. So in my opinion, this scenario is actually really valid. So for 2026, I believe this scenario is the most possible one actually, that we test this, and from here we have some sort of base or some sort of double bottom or anything, or a shadow or whatever that absorb the good amount of buy orders, and then they're gonna push the price up. In this scenario, I think that's the best case scenario, that first of all we drop to this important zone and we get pushed up. That just is, I think, healthy for Ripple to, if it wants to keep this momentum, this bull momentum in the long run. And this is like the most healthiest scenario for it. Supply zones for it would be this area and this area and this area. Of course, this is the ultimate one. It's like caps in price action. I will pop it up to see what I mean. If we reach here maybe like in early 2026, it could still be a good short position opportunity. And if you want to break, it would be something like this, that we eventually break to go for all-time high. And this scenario requires the whole crypto market and Bitcoin, of course, go for a new all-time high and go for another bull run. If Bitcoin goes to anywhere between 100 plus 100k, of course, to 200k, this scenario is very, very possible. So that's just up to you and what percentage do you think is possible that Bitcoin actually go for a new all-time high in 2026 and go for 150k, 200k. If you think it's possible, then you can hope for new all-time high for Ripple. It's not impossible that if we actually reach a good price, a crazy price like 200k for Bitcoin, then of course Ripple could reach $5 and eventually $8. And of course, these are like a crazy targets, that if you want to say that the most bullish scenario for 2026 for the crypto and altcoin, like this could be it. The most realistic one could be that we first test here and then we have a good demand here, we push the price up, we make a good base. Bitcoin wouldn't be under 80k. Also have a good fundamental news for Ripple, which I'm going to tell you in the end of the video. If it's all the criteria are good, we of course can capture any of these targets and ultimately go for higher highs. But if we want to be realistic, the price target for Ripple for 2026 would be anywhere between $3 and $4. So anywhere this area could be our playing point for Ripple in the bullish scenario. For a scenario that we don't test here, which I don't think it's good in the long term, would be we have a consolidation here and then go for these targets that I set. Of course, don't forget that we have a downward trend line that it has to break. Also, don't forget that it was a triangle that we had right before the crazy crash of in mid-October. So in general, it's bearish. And even though we have this scenario, It would be good for short term that we have a pump after breaking this and eventually go up, but I think it's gonna end up way worse crash, and it's not healthy. Of course, the healthy scenario, as I said, it would be something like this, and then eventually go for higher highs in the 2026. And of course, it's also very possible that we have consolidation first, and then break down the downward trend, and then rally. Now let's look into the bearish scenario. The bearish scenario most likely is going to be related to losing this zone. That if we lose this, I think it's pretty much over, but I'm still gonna give it a break. This zone also is going to be a good chance for it to recover, but I believe that if we lose this, this is going to also be lost anyway in the matter of time afterwards. We might see a rally, especially because of this area. There's lots of buy orders, but probably we are going to lose this, and then the base of this whole massive bull run would be available, and ultimately this is like the most ultimate bearish scenario that we, after losing this, and we're gonna go for the base. And if we go for a crazy bloodbath, crazy bearish scenario that we had like back in 2021 or 2, that Bitcoin dropped till 16k. If we have something like that Bitcoin dropped to 40k, of course we might even lose this. But more in the practical use of Ripple and also its success with the regulatory and stuff, I don't think that it's going to be happening for Ripple. But I'm gonna also give you guys more reasons for it that why I think in the end of the video in the fundamental outlook, and you'll see that it's even banks right now are using Ripple. So I don't think that it's going to happen. And if I want to imagine an extreme bearish scenario, would be this, that we drop to this area that I said, and then go here, but we quickly recover, and then we just be here and have to see what will happen there. But I don't think that we ultimately going to lose this for 2026, unless that we have a I don't know, some another lawsuit against Ripple Foundation, or Bitcoin be, I don't know, some crazy price like 40k. Of course, then it's going to be possible, but I'm more on a bullish side, and even though bearish side, I don't think that we're gonna go below $1. And I think for 2026, the lowest possible that Ripple could go is $1. And so I think that's a good news for you if you're looking to hear anything good about Ripple. And I think it's going to be a good year overall for Ripple, but again, it's based on a lot of factors, especially how the Bitcoin and the whole crypto market does. But of course, 2026 is a way different time comparing to 2021. Unless that is the end of the cycle, and unless there's going to be a bloodbath in the whole crypto market and massive outflow, I don't think we're gonna go below $1. And if we want to imagine what I think is the most possible movement, could be something like this, that we somehow get to this zone, and then we get pushed back up, and then eventually, anytime that any good run for Bitcoin happen in the 2026, we go below $2 again, and then we just be here. And the same way that this happened, we're gonna have something like that. This whole area could be our base, and then from here we could go for a new all-time high eventually, if not 2026, just 2027 or whatever, or whenever the next crazy cycle happen, or whenever Bitcoin is like 200k or something. And one thing that you should also keep in mind, that Ripple have token unlocked around 1 billion per month, but the key is that it's also get locked other tokens that already are. But the outcome is like 300 tokens every month are unlocked and come into circulation. But the thing is that this is happening like for a couple of years now, and although of course it's important to see that there are new tokens be added to the circulation, but since it's not that much and it's been happening, it's not something crazy, but of course something to be aware of. And now let's just jump into the fundamental parts. Alright, so let's see how Ripple is going to do outside the chart next year. Except that whole tokenomic side that I told you, you also should look into adoption of the banks and financial institutions, how they use XRP, which in this case, this year XRP did good. Here are some articles about how banks this year did use XRP. Um, but most banks use Ripple's network through RippleNet for faster cross-border payments. And that part doesn't mean that they require to hold XRP tokens. Only some payments corridors actually use XRP through ODL. If that ODL volume grows in 2026, that's the part that can actually really support XRP's price. So yeah, more adoption from big financial institutions would have a big impact and be a big win for Ripple and could boost everything and pushes the bull scenario that we talked about more. Beside that, the regulatory stuff are important, that Ripple did good, and it was actually one of the most important factors this year. And I saved the most important factor for last, and that is ETF. There are lots of ETF rumors for Ripple, and if actually we have a ETF approval for Ripple, XRP is going to have a massive rally, I think, and we even might see that $5 target that I told you in 2026. And that's it. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. Please subscribe. There are lots of more videos coming. Let's grow this channel together. See you on the next video.